Hi, everybody. Cheryl Echevarria. Um, we had some hiccups earlier with Zoom, so it was cut off some of the earlier videos. So I'm adding on what I talked about and what Charlotte was talking about, and just going to put it on from here. I introduced myself. Hi, Cheryl Echevarria, Echevarria Travel. I started by talking about travel news out there. It's not going to be in order because I forget the order I was in. Ha ha ha. When the theme parks, Disney is opening up, as I mentioned, July 11th and July 15th. If some of the resorts, like the Disney campsite and some other resorts, are open. The theme parks are not open yet, but they are open if you have reservations. Also, those with reservations, um, as you know, you may not know, but read all your emails. Stop hitting the delete button, or else you're going to get aggravated, please. We don't want clients getting aggravated. If you have an existing Disney reservation, you've already gotten directly from the Walt Disney Company. Look for that Walt Disney Company to state that your dining and your fast passes were canceled. You can make your reservations while you're on property. Okay, so please make sure you do that. There's no other way of doing it. If you want me to do it, there's no way of me doing it because it takes 5 to 7 hours just to get through now to a representative. It is very busy out there. Also, I have uh, early January bookings for 2021, and soon I will be able to book your vacation packages for Walt Disney World for 2021 and beyond. And if you're looking to go to Walt Disney World next year, it's the 50th anniversary. We do not know from day to day what the new normal is going to be. So, like I say about anything else going on, be kind, be patient, be flexible, go with a sense of humor, because you know what? We will get there. We will have fun. We will see Mickey Mouse again, or we will go to Jamaica and have a good time. But wherever you're going, please be patient. And I'm here behind you. I'm working with you. The other thing I was mentioning, I have people now in Jamaica having a great time. Yes, there were some things with the airport. They are slow getting you off the plane. They will take your temperature. They would give you a COVID-19 uh, shot. You will get off the plane. You will go to your resorts. You get there normally. Some even resorts now, pretty good deal, private car service. So whichever resort you're going to, you're going to get private car service versus the buses. Also, they're asking about this time because not all the tours are open yet, that to stay at resort until further notice. I mean, those resorts are gorgeous. You will never know that you're not at Paradise because I love Sandals and Beaches resorts. We love the Hyatt and the Hiltons and so many others. So please ask us about them. Also, Las Vegas is open. And some of the new normals, let's go over this again, because now, because of the uh, numbers increasing here in the US, and some of the numbers getting lower in Europe and Africa and Asia or wherever you're planning on going to, we are a hot spot. So depending on where you're going to, the U.S. may not be allowed to go there due to the hot spot as the United States. We've had it. Remember, we closed the borders. They can do it to us. So you want to go, stay healthy, but wear a mask, uh, social distancing, and you know what? Be kind. I know there are people out there that uh, think that it'll never happen to them. I'm not going to get it. I'm not worried about it. You got to come home. You got to give it to mom or grandma, and or a person like myself who has underlying health issues, and you're going to get us sick. So I'm going to just say that and leave it alone. So be kind, be patient. And then I brought out Charlotte Tom, who is my BDM. BDM is a business development manager that works with travel agents. She will go into, when we come on with her, what a BDM is and what they do and how they work with us, the travel agent, and how they work with you, my client, through me. Okay. So she covers my area of Florida, which is the Southeast Territory from Jacksonville to Broward County, which is Miami. And guess what? I service all U.S. citizens. So just because she's here in Southeast doesn't mean that I can't ask her about somebody in Michigan or Missouri or Oregon or anything like that. So I appreciate it. Apologize about the Zoom issues. And here's a full interview with me and Charlotte Tom talking about Princess Cruise Line and Alaska. Thank you very much.
Victoria, I also represent those as well. So I work with agents, so in that territory that we just discussed, and I help them with basically just from everything from, you know, kind of soup to nuts as far as helping them grow their business. Really, at the end of the day, it's about helping them, and because obviously there's a lot of options when it comes to cruise and travel and land. Of course, you have, you know, you mentioned Jamaica. So cruises go to Jamaica, but obviously they also are land vacations there. So there's so many options. So it helps really for us to help the agent kind of find the right, you know, the right consumer client for them, as well as helping them to promote their business. So we do, you know, pretty much everything from like cruise nights to this now actually virtually, but we do it or did, and hopefully next year we'll be doing it in person again. But we help with all of you listening, you know, try to kind of help you figure out what cruise is best for you, and then of course helping the agents to grow their business financially, and of course through helping them have great vacations for their clients. So yeah.
Thank you. Great. And
Yeah.
what is your particular background? How long you been with Princess, and how long you been in the travel industry, and who you been with?
A little bit about me. Well, I've been in the industry for a while. I actually worked a little bit about my back history is I actually worked on board, not on Princess, but with another brand. And I was kind of Julie, the cruise director on board. So I did all the activities, and so that was a lot of fun. So that's how I got started in the business, actually through working on board. So that was a lot of fun. Of course, you kind of get the bug, as you know, if you're in travel, and it sticks. So I continued, and so I traveled a little bit. I actually worked in Alaska for a couple of years for Princess Tours, which is the tour company that we also have in Alaska. So I lived in Juneau, and yeah, so I lived in the Southeast. So that's one of the stops on your cruise. And so I worked there for a while, and then I came back to Florida, and I've been with Princess for 13 years now.
Oh,
so
wow.
Helping travel agents, and still working in the business, trying to cruise when I can, but obviously I cruise for work and for fun. But it's obviously it's a fun job, and who wouldn't love to, you know, obviously promote and help to sell cruise, because, you know, it's a lot of fun. So that's just a little bit. So I've been, you know, you said how many years? I don't know. It's been a while, but that's how I started, and that's how I got into the business. So it's been great. So
Yes, and like you said, I love cruising. I mean, my very first cruise was almost 14 years ago. I was a land lover, and then I got on my first cruise and just loved it. I love going from place to place to place, and unpacking once, and you're there, and
yes.
it's fantastic. And I hope our listeners out there don't let, you know, what's been going on in the past scare you. Things will be back to normal, or a new normal, as we're calling it now. So speaking of which, can you give us at least some updates of what's going on at the moment? And again, I'm going to put this with a caveat out there. With all travel, and not just with the cruise lines, not just with Princess, the things that they have in place, they're not permanent, but they want to make sure that everybody's safe and secure and well taken care of. But can you give us some options of what's going on today with Princess, with planning and refunds and all that?
Yeah, so we started, months ago in March. Obviously, it's been a long, long haul so far, but we started, our first pause. We actually did it a little, actually before some of the others out there, because obviously you all, I think, are aware, unless you were not watching television, about our Diamond Princess. So that's kind of, obviously, unfortunately, where it all started. So we took a stance and we started canceling early. So we've had 3 pauses. So the last one was on May 6th. So that's been just for our Alaska season, unfortunately, into the fall, into Canada and New England. And that was because of Canada's, protocols, and because they were not allowing cruise ships to come into Canada. So unfortunately, we had to do that, which was, obviously for a lot of us. I was actually personally going to Alaska on a family vacation. And I think, as Cheryl, we're going to talk about, she was planning on going this summer with her group in Alaska. And now we'll be moving into 2021 for our Alaska season. But we've had several pauses with regards to, and of course you have options with your refund. If you want a full refund, it is taking some time. So any of you out there that are still waiting, please be patient. It is taking a long time, and unfortunately, it wasn't planned at all. Of course, the pandemic, so we have to. A lot of it is being done manually, so it's just unfortunate that it's taking a while to send out all the refunds. So if you wanted to do a future cruise credit, obviously there were several options depending on when your sailing was. Of course, to a future cruise credit, and then an additional. With a additional percentage for the future cruise credit. So, like, again, depending on when you were sailing and when you canceled, like I said, there's 3 of them. And if, obviously Cheryl can give you that information if you did have a canceled sailing and you haven't made a decision yet. Obviously, most of you probably have made a decision on that. So you're either getting a refund or you have a future cruise credit. And then as far as, health and safety protocols, obviously, as you probably, like Cheryl just mentioned, along with the CDC and the World Health Organization, they've made some decisions. And then now with CLIA, which is our, it's the Cruise Line Industry Association, they have suspended all cruises till the middle of September. So we were already in that pause. So it didn't affect us really anymore. Now moving forward, we really don't have anything definite planned, but we are working on protocols, and so that it's across the board. So it's not just specific to Princess, as CLIA is obviously an organization that affects all of the cruise lines. So we really are working together with them, as a whole industry to move forward, so people feel safe. Obviously, that's the one of the top important factors is the safe and well-being of the passengers and the crew, so both on board. So we are working with our protocols. So we're looking at itineraries, and obviously places that we can now go into. As you mentioned, the Caribbean is opening up. A lot of their ports now are opening for travel. So as far as the restrictions, it just depends on, the location and where we are going. And Europe is opening up a little bit more now. So it depends on, what happens in the future with their rules and their protocols. But as far as safety, on board, of course, we are, a lot of people are asking about the buffets and things like that. And so we're working through that, but of course the protocols for embarkation, we're looking at, this is all in development, but thermal scanning, of guests and crew with temperature checks, and, an enhanced screening of, where you've been, things like that we've had in the past. And then a heightened sanitation, for the cruise ship the terminals, as well as, on board. And then of course, on board, all types of different, a lot more cleaning as far as in sanitation for people, that are on board. And as far as, like I said, buffets, we don't know for sure yet, but it may be that we still have a buffet, but it will be served by a crew member likely. So that's, not set in stone yet, but we're looking at all of this right now. So, you know, just basically, you know, we go back to kind of, if you've been on a cruise, you know that in most places, and especially dining rooms and in eating areas, we always have hand sanitizers. We have now on our new ships, we have actually we have sinks where we wash you wash your hands before you even go into the buffet. So things like that. And then if you've been on a cruise, most of the doors open, close. And now with our Ocean Medallion, if you have cruised with Ocean Medallion, which if you have not, it's a great new, but I'm wearing my medallion. And of course that is, you know, it's entry into your cabin without having to, basically it opens. I mean, you may have to touch the handle to open it, but it makes it a lot easier to get in and out. So these are things that obviously we're working on. So it's a work in progress. I hope that answers the question.
It does. And I love that medallion program we have. I mean, it's, you know, you're cash free, you're not handling cash, you're, you know, everything you can put on the medallion, your excursions, everything on there. So I want to move on to the cruise I'm doing. I mean, one of the reasons I brought you on is to help enlighten my guests about Alaska.
Yes.
Because I am doing a group. My group says my listeners are, and if you don't know, we host a number of group trips a year, cruise and land. Alaska we try to do this year, but of course that didn't come through. And our group is 40 and up, 40 years old and up, I should mention. Yes, and that, you know, everything from we love our veterans, and Princess has a great veteran program, and all my veterans that have gone on Princess love getting the extras and being taken care of on ships. And my clients who have disabilities, and just everybody, I mean, from soup to nuts. We love having friends. We love new friends. So we're going August 28th, 2021 through September 4th, 2021.
Nice.
And we are going to Alaska, which includes the inside passage, round trip out of Seattle, Washington. That includes Glacier Bay National Park. And I've seen the photos.
Have you not been?
Charlotte works with, and one of the pictures behind her background.
Yes, it is.
And I was funny, I was going to change my background to the same one. So we would have been twins. But Charlotte works with another BDM who is on vacation that has gone to Alaska so many times. And you've heard Charlotte has actually worked in Juneau. That I am so into nature, and I can't wait to see the glaciers. And, and oh my God, I just want to see up close with an orca from my cruise from my balcony. So before I talk about everything, why don't you give us a highlight of places we're going to go on this itinerary, and especially the program that you have where you bring on board experts in the field. When we're in the Bay and other areas.
Okay, great. Yeah, so Glacier Bay, is one of the top 3 reasons why people go to Alaska. Of course, they want to see the glaciers, they want to see wildlife, and then so I mean, it's a great itinerary because you see the southeast, of course. So you leave from Seattle, which is a great way to do it because obviously it's not an international flight. To get to Seattle, and then it's a 7-day round trip, like you said, from Seattle. So the ports that you're gonna go to, Juneau, Skagway, some of the the 2 of my favorites, Ketchikan, as far as, and then I think Victoria, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Which is great if you go to the. Well, there's a couple different things you can do in Victoria, but the best part, is just the awe of Alaska because it's so, amazing. Like I said, I lived there for a couple of years, so I got to see a little bit more of it. And so as far as the Glacier Bay, the nice thing about Glacier Bay is going in, and then of course you turn around in Glacier Bay, you can see the calving, with the glaciers. And, you know, if there's a lot of activity in there, the captain sometimes stays a little bit longer if he can, to go and to look around. But they actually bring someone on board that does a narrative. So basically they talk about Alaska and about just kind of, you know, everything that relates to the glaciers and, you know, kind of the history. And then of course, when it comes to wildlife. So it's a learning, you know, experience as well. I mean, you mentioned, you know, your age is 40 and up, but for those of you that have, you know, kids or grandkids, obviously it's great for education as well, for not just for, you know, adults, but for kids too. So that's an option, because of course you're going at the end, you know, close to the end of the season, which is nice, because a lot of families will be back in school. And so, like you said, with the, you know, you're looking at, you know, your age range. But we do have a full, you know, full kids program in Alaska as well. And as far as, you know, the ports of call and the things to do, I mean, it's everything. I mean, depending on what you want to do, as you know, how adventurous you are, because you can do zip lining, you can do, you know, you can do river rafting, you can do, like in Skagway, you know, the big, of course, is the train, the White Pass train, which a lot of people love to do. You go up on the train, then you turn around and come back, and you know, a lot of people love that. It's a really popular tour. And Juneau, one of my favorites, of course, is the whale watching. So they do a whale watching tour, which is amazing. You may see some whales on the cruise if you're, you know, if you're a hawk and you're looking for them, or if the captain sees one and he, you know, he points it out. But it's great to go on a specific tour to do that. So there's just so many tours. It's really hard to. My favorite, absolute favorite, which is, you know, it's depending. It's not for the faint at heart if you are, you know, if you're afraid of flying, but is a helicopter or a flight scene. So you do that in any of the, really almost every port has a flight scene. So either by a float plane to one of, like my favorite is Taku Lodge, which is in Juneau, and you can fly, and then you land obviously on the water, and you go and you have a nice salmon lunch. It's delicious. And so that's, of course, one of the options. Or the helicopters, which are in Juneau and Skagway, where you can do a helicopter tour and you land on a glacier. Or even better, you go and you do, you know, you get to see the sled dog puppies. So one of the things that we did do, what you mentioned, is bringing, you know, some of the activities onto the ship, and some of the, so for example, the puppies and the piazza. So in Skagway, in the afternoon, we actually bring puppies, sled dog puppies, on so that people can play with them, take photos with them. And so that's if you don't want to take a helicopter tour and go up and, you know, and actually see them on the ice. So we do, you know, a little bit of that. We also do, we do Cook My Catch, which is another excursion that you can, it's not really an excursion, so to speak, but if you go fishing on one of our excursions, then we actually bring the catch, whatever it might be, onto the ship, and we cook it. Actually, the chef cooks it for dinner that night for your table. So all those guys out there that say their fish are this big, we get to really see how big the fish is that they caught. So that's a lot of fun, and it's great for people to experience, you know, a lot of the activities. Again, a lot of our people have been to Alaska again and again. I mean, we take the most people to Alaska. So people have been many years, like you said, my colleague who goes every year. And for those that have been, you know that you can continue to go each year and do something new and see something that you hadn't seen before. So those are some of my highlights in the ports that you could do. But again, excursions are, you know, there's so many of them to choose from.
So especially for me, like I said, I'm very excited. I see all these pictures, and when I try not to watch the news, but if I'm not on the news, National Geographic, and watching all the Alaska.
Yeah.
So
it's really beautiful. It's one of those places that you really should do, you know, before, you know, just don't, you know, definitely check it off the bucket list, because you won't be disappointed.
We're very big into the bucket list here. The other thing I wanted to bring up is the new benefit program. I'm calling it a benefit program.
Well,
that you have that other cruise lines have, but you're doing it way differently. And I really like that you're doing it.
It's an evergreen promotion now. We started it in the new year. And so it's all the time, which is great. So you can always, you have a group, so you have, the group so you're going to have amenities with that group already, and you're going to have your group pricing, but included in that is what's called the Princess Plus. So you're getting the full beverage, the exclusive beverage package. So for those of you that say right away, oh no, I don't drink, I don't want the beverage package, because those, I know those people, and you may be saying, oh, I don't think that's a good benefit for me, but it really is, because it includes bottled water, it includes sodas, if you drink soda, it drinks juices, specialty coffees. For those of you that need Red Bull, it's everything in the spectrum as far as drinks. So it's really a good option even if you just have, drink bottled water and you drink, maybe it's, cappuccinos. It's a great option. So that is included in the Princess Plus. And then our gratuities, of course, which are for everything on board that you have a gratuity for. So for the dining room, for your stateroom, for the things that you use on board as far as gratuities. And then the last thing is the unlimited Wi-Fi. So with the ships having medallion class, that's included in the Princess Plus. So it's unlimited. So for those of you that want to keep in touch with your family, with your friends, you have, a package, which is great. So all of that is included in the price. Which is a great option. And I wanted to mention, before I forget, Cheryl, you mentioned the gentlemen or ladies that are military. So our military on board credit is for anyone that's either active or retired military, and we do give you an additional onboard credit. So a 7-day cruise is $100. Yes. So that's what you will get on top of that. And then the other thing, which I wanted to mention, is if you are a stockholder and you are Carnival, we're owned by Carnival Corporation. And so if you are a stockholder, that's another great option, is you have to have so much stock and you will get an additional onboard credit. So, and all of that is combinable. So that's something that is great for all of you, because all of that combines. So if you're military, if you have stock, and then you have the plus, you get all that wrapped into one, of course, with the group and the pricing of the group. So it's a great opportunity.
Awesome. There was a couple of things I want to ask you. Yes, people with disabilities. Now, when I am qualifying my client, because I say that because I have some disabilities. I'm legally blind. I use my husband a cane, so I'm well versed. I know how to take care of myself. I have clients in wheelchairs and scooters. Right. And they're all welcome on Princess, correct?
Right, they are, absolutely, absolutely. We are ADA, are the American with Disabilities Act. We have all of that. And when it comes to, people ask about Alaska because it is so vast and so big, and the excursions, but there are excursions. And what's nice in our short excursion, when you actually book with us, you will be able to go on to the cruise personalizer or the Ocean Medallion in the app, and you can look at basically all of the excursions that we have available. And it will have, basically icons that say what is, good for walking, maybe not good for walking, what's easy accessibility wise. Some of it, if it's adventurous, it'll say adventurous. So it really does help you to figure out what's best for you and maybe, your comfort level, as far as, like you said, with walking with the cane, or as we do everything from, of course, our motor coach tours all the way to, like I said, zip lining and, ice, now I can't think of what we call it, but you can go into a glacier and basically, do your, there's everything for you to do on board and, with excursions. So yeah, it's great.
Wonderful. Now, the other thing, what I wanted to bring up is people think that when you go to Alaska, everybody goes to Glacier Bay. And I said, no, there's only 2 ships allowed in per day to Glacier Bay when you go in.
You do have to have
Alaska, I guess, is it per Alaska that they designed that so it doesn't?
Yeah, so that it wasn't so because of environmental, obviously, but then the traffic of having a lot of ships in Glacier Bay. So yeah, so we trade between Glacier Bay, but we also have ships that do Tracy Arm, which is another itinerary that you can do. But the one that you mentioned, yeah, of course, is Glacier Bay. So there are a couple of options, but yes, with Glacier Bay, they do, they restrict only so many ships to go in per day. So because of, they don't want a lot of traffic. It's a beautiful place and we want to keep it that way. So it's important to be, environmentally responsible. So yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful day, and the cabin is amazing. Just listening to it. I, of course, recommend a balcony. And I know Cheryl will probably tell you that, that saying that says, once you go balcony, you never go back. It's for me, truth.
Oh, truth. Yes, definitely true.
Starting with that, because you're only going to want to go, to a suite. So, but it's really nice that in Alaska to have a balcony. So, I mean, you can go up on top deck and of course you can hear all of the public announcements and all the activities happening if you're out and about. But it's nice to also have your balcony just to sit out there if you want to, be in your robe and, and sit out in the morning and watch the, the day go by. It's nice to have that as well. So I definitely recommend that.
Any new destinations coming up for Princess besides, Alaska is not new. You guys been doing it the longest out there, but
not yet. Right now, we still have our. We're about to announce a few other things. We just announced our. We're about to announce West Coast sailings in the beginning of July, so that will open for next year and for the following, obviously late 21 into 22. And then we did open South America and Tahiti recently. So we had our small ship. The Pacific Princess, which is our only small ship in the fleet. It's 725 passengers, and she was slated to do Tahiti, and then all of this happened. So sold out. The ship was sold out, unfortunately for all of our guests that were going. But we are doing Tahiti, so it's not new, but we hadn't done it in a while. And so at the moment, no, we don't have anything that we have slated for new, but like I said, with things happening with all of this and what places will be, ports will be opening, things could change. So that's something that's great to have, obviously a travel agent to work with, because they will get the news first and they will know what's happening in the cruise world and new itineraries and things. So stay tuned to that.
Well, thank you, Charlotte, for coming on today. We really appreciate you giving us insight into Princess, making us feel a lot safer and secure about work and looking forward to going to Alaska. And I want to let my clients know that, we're taking deposits now, $200 per person. And I have to say, and Charlotte will let you know, Princess is very popular. So if you want to get your room, get it now. Even though I have a group, Princess can say, we need to stay. So they don't want to take it away from me, but they we need you booking now. I do payment plans. Rooms start at $11.99 per person for interior, and for balcony $21.99. So you know what? Those are decent rates to go. And if you're afraid of flying, you could do Amtrak. I've looked into it. Seattle has a great Amtrak station. You can do Greyhound, or you can drive. Take a couple extra days and drive to Seattle, so you don't have to be afraid of driving. So it's Cheryl Echevarria, Echevarria Travel, 407-910-6469, reservations at echevarriatravel.com. Please set up your virtual consultation with me. And remember, when you work with Echevarria, everything is free. I get paid from people like Princess Direct, and no, there's myths out there that we charge you more for working with us. No way, Jose. And the prices are not marked up from a cruise line or an all-inclusive or wherever I'm trying to send you. The price is the price. So reach out to us. If I don't know the answer, I will be reaching out to Charlotte. And when Ted comes back, and you got the best people out there helping you. So I want to say good night and God bless. And we'll talk to you next week. Have a great week. Stop this.